What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Busy Fan. Today we got some DK Metcalf action for you. He's running in USA track and field, so that's a big story there. We've got Nets Bucks action for you, and we have a little bit of drama with the NFLPA, so let's get into it. So taking a look here, let's start with that DK Metcalf story. So this is big news. He's decided he's going to run the 100 meters at the USATF Golden Games. His goal is to run a 10.05 100 meters so that he can qualify for the Olympic trials, which is absolutely insane fast. If any of you have run track before or watched track and field, absolutely like crazy fast. DK Metcalf became the huge storyline when he chased down Buda Baker on that crazy run when Buda Baker picked off Russell Wilson. So that's when everyone started talking about how fast he was. And the Olympics actually tweeted at him and said, "Hey, if you want to see real speed, come do track and field." And so he's like, "Okay, yeah, no, let's do it. Let's run track and field and let's see how fast I am." I don't know if DK Metcalf is crazy fast, like crazy track fast. I know he's really fast for an NFL player, but here's the thing. I think NFL players are some of the best athletes in the world, so I would assume that there are many players in the NFL that would have been qualifying in track and field if they had chosen to focus on that. I don't want to assume. I know that they would be able to qualify and everything. I don't know if DK Metcalf is one of them. I guess we'll find out. But also, he said he's been preparing for 2 months for this. It's tough when you've been preparing for 2 months and everyone else has been preparing their whole life for it. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. All I know is I am super excited for it. I think that this will be a great thing for just to get us all excited and hyped and everything. There's some track and field coaches who are kind of freaking out, like, "Oh, who does he think he is running with us? Like, there's no way he can compete with all of us." Well, let's see. Like, who cares if he can or can't? I want to watch it. I want to see how close he gets. I want to see how much he's able to grow in that 2 month time. And if anything, maybe you just get more athletes excited about it. Maybe you get people who have dreams of going and playing lower division football right now who are going to see this and be like, "Oh, maybe I can't. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should focus on the 100 meter, focus on track." And I think it'll only be good for the sport. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Next, let's move up to this story. We got Giannis and the Bucks beat the Nets in back-to-back games. So we already talked about this one where Giannis went off for 49-8 and he had 4 3-pointers. This one, he went for 36, 12 rebounds, and 4 3-pointers. Some of the key facts here. So first of all, James Harden still wasn't playing. That's going to be the Nets' excuse, and it may be a good one. I don't know. They're saying that, it'll all work itself out once James Harden gets back and everything. But Giannis going off like this is a concern because you got Kevin Durant guarding him throughout the game. Kevin Durant has had several shots at the end of the game to either tie it or make it a one-possession game and has missed those shots, which is not normal for him. I think it has something to do with guarding Giannis all game and getting exhausted. So that is a struggle for the Nets that James Harden won't just solve. You still want Kevin Durant healthy and you want him to have all the energy and everything. He may be able to pick up those points at the end of the game, but Kevin Durant's still the best player in your team, so you want him to have some energy at the end of the game. Really, the reason why this is really concerning is because Brooklyn is a game behind Philly, and so they are setting themselves up to have to play Milwaukee in the second round of the NBA playoffs. So if they were the first seed, then they wouldn't have to worry, and they would only have to play one of either Philly or Milwaukee, and they could just wait it out and let them beat each other up. Assuming Philadelphia would come, I'm assuming Philadelphia would win that, so they would never even have to face the Bucks. But now it's looking like if they don't start winning and if Philly doesn't start losing, that they'll have to play both of these teams in order to make it to the Western Conference Finals or to the NBA Finals, and that will be really tough for them, I think. So here's a little look at the standings right now. What's going on? Take a peek. See, Phoenix is now tied the Jazz, and they have that tiebreaker, so they're moved up there. Now, let's go talk about the NFLPA action. So with the NFLPA, they told all players that you should sit out of voluntary workouts. Don't do it. Don't do any of those workouts because they want to protect players through COVID and all this stuff. So the Broncos offensive tackle, Juwan James, he listened to them and he was like, okay, I'll sit out. I'll do what these guys told me. And so he was working out on his own. He tore his Achilles and he has potentially lost $20 million because he didn't tear his Achilles in the facility. He tore it working out on his own. So they're saying, we don't have to pay you this money because if you were working out with us, this wouldn't have happened. So he could lose $20 million. Will probably lose at least 10, more likely 20 because teams like to save money. And everyone's freaking out at the NFLPA. They're like, you made him do this. Like you convinced him that he shouldn't be there. And he was just trying to stick up for fellow players and everything. So there's big backlash on that right now about what the NFLPA is doing. A lot of people are upset and they'll be talking about it. So now let's go into these scores here. Let's see. The Clippers beat the Raptors. The Pelicans beat the Warriors. This was a tight game all throughout, but it was tight. And then it was at the Pelicans arena and the lights went out. I think it was the end of the third quarter when the lights went out. And Steph went 1 for 11 shooting after that. Very similar to Super Bowl. The Super Bowl that was also in New Orleans. They just suck at keeping their lights on, I guess. But this one, in that game, the 49ers played way worse after the lights went out. This one, Steph played way worse after the lights went out. So, I don't know, a little conspiracy there for you. We got Mavericks beat the Heat. We already talked about the Bucks beating the Nets. The Hornets beat the Pistons. And the Suns beat the Cavs. We'll look a little bit at baseball scores for you. Just go down here and talk about the Cubs beat the Dodgers. That's big news. The Dodgers started off crazy hot. They're still looking good, but not nearly as unbeatable as they once looked. And this was the big story. The Yankees beating the Astros 7-3. Several fans got ejected from this game for bringing in fake trash cans and things. Like the Yankees absolutely hate the Astros, and it makes baseball more exciting. So I love it. There's your scores. Keep looking, see your favorite team, see how they did. I don't want to bore everyone with all this stuff because beat the Dodgers again, 7-1 doubleheader. So that's your news. That's what's going on in the sports world. Thanks for being a busy fan, and thanks for watching.
This is real life, little home, that's why I stayed down. I done came off that boy, look what I made now. Like Nike, I just